eventually it just all dropped off, and everyone is like, whoa, you've lost so much weight so quickly. I'm like, it has been a year since I started, so I didn't do it quickly. Hi y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rachel Kendi, and if you're new here, please click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you're notified anytime I post. And I know I've not been consistent the past 1 year, and I guess now I'm back. I will try to be more consistent, and I know I did say that last year, but this time for real. Let's be for real with our goals this year, right? This video is about how I lost weight, and I decided to do a video because I posted on TikTok that I lost weight, and you guys had so many questions, and so many people asked me how I lost the weight finally, and kept it off and plan on keeping it off. So yeah, this video is about that. So if you're interested, just keep watching. Let's start from the beginning. If you want the shorter version, you can go to my TikTok and watch that. But if you want the long version, stay tuned. Anyways, growing up, I was not that chubby. I was kind of skinny actually when I was a kid in primary school. And then I think when I turned like 13 is when I started gaining a bit more weight. And by this point, I was competitively swimming in school. And how I even noticed that I gained weight is because people made fun of my stomach, because I had a pooch, you know, the female pooch. I don't know what people call it, but yeah, I call it a pooch. And I had a pooch, and people would make fun of my stomach and would wonder why my stomach looks like that. It's not flat like everyone else's, because it had like bumps by this point. And I was swimming, so of course it was very noticeable. And then now moving into high school, I still continued swimming and started playing football. I really liked football actually. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't like running because my chest was so big back then in high school. I don't know why. And people made fun of me also because of having a big chest. I didn't really care. But then now after high school is when I noticed I was chubby, like for real. But most people would just be like, no, it's normal, it's just normal weight, you're healthy. You know, when you ask someone like when you ask your family or your parents, of course they're gonna tell you you're very normal, you look nice, you look healthy. They're not gonna say you're fat. No one's gonna tell you you're fat except you. So for me, I would always try and go on like these crazy diets, like taking lemon in the morning and then like putting cayenne and turmeric and drinking that. But I never saw any results with all those fad diets. I would do it for like 3 weeks and then get over it, or lose weight and then gain it right back and then some more. So it was just never consistent. So this is the first time that I've actually lost weight and maintained it and kept it off, and I feel like I've kind of figured it out now. So anyways, my journey started in 2022. I decided that I'm tired of trying and that this time I'm actually going to do it. I had no idea how, so I just started with what I knew and what had worked before, but I wasn't consistent. But what worked once was keto, and it's because it worked on my mom, but because she wasn't consistent, of course, the weight came back. So I decided this time I'm just gonna try. This time I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna try, I'm not gonna say that I'm trying, I'm just gonna actually do it. And I knew there was no shortcut. Food was my biggest thing. In 2020, I gained so much weight because of COVID and staying in. Although I would try and like take like my hot girl walks, which is like an hour every day, 10,000 steps, I would come back home, bake a cake and eat the whole thing. And plus I had a cake baking business, so I would eat all of that. And I was addicted to cake at some point, and I would eat so much cake without a care in the world, honestly, because I don't know who I thought I was. Anyways, I gained so much weight during that time, and it stayed on. So around April, sorry if I'm looking at my phone to look at the exact dates, so I don't get things wrong, So around April 2022 is when I decided that I'm done trying and I'm just gonna do it. So I started with keto diet. So I went on the keto diet. I cleaned up my eating habits. I cut out cake and most of the carbs that I was eating. I was addicted to carbs, honestly, and it all went to my stomach. And I had this belief that I would never get a flat stomach because that's just who I am. That's how I've always been since I was like 13. So at this point I was just like, you know what, whatever weight I lose, I'm gonna lose it. And even like at some point I was really scared of being super skinny because I liked my chest, and I mean, I had a good bum, and I didn't want to lose those, but I figured you can't just spot reduce, so you would have to lose all the fat from head to toe. And I also really wanted to lose my chubby cheeks. I didn't like them. Most people found it so cute. I did not find it cute. I just felt like I looked fat. Anyways, at some point I started noticing that I'm losing mostly water weight because I increased my water intake. And when I started feeling the difference, nobody noticed it, obviously. In the first like 1 or 2 months, no one noticed it. And then eventually I started now incorporating more hikes and hot girl walks. So at this point I was walking every single day, like 10,000 steps a day, and I was hiking with Let's Drift every single weekend, just to make sure that I'm keeping my body moving. And even when I would go for the hikes, I would pack lunch. I would pack a healthy lunch, some like chicken and greens and avocado, a lot of healthy fats, because I was still on keto diet and hiking a lot. And then I lost a bit of weight. I became like a good size, but of course you could still see there was a lot of fat in my body, even though I had lost some weight. So at this point I decided to now move to the gym. I transitioned into the gym around January 2023. I had tried going to the gym before in 2022. I just was not consistent and I did not enjoy my experience. So I moved now to the gym in January 2023 is when I decided to be more consistent. And the first 1 month, honestly, I did not notice a difference, but I felt it. I did not notice a difference, but I started feeling it. So I became more addicted to how it makes me feel rather than how it made me look. I was just kind of in the middle of a transition in my life, and the gym was the only consistent thing in my life. So I decided to make it like a part of my lifestyle. So instead of making it about how I look, I focused more on how it made me feel. And how it made me feel became more addictive than how it made me look. At this point, obviously no one could tell the difference, and I would walk at least 10,000 steps. I kept that. I would walk to the gym, or rather to a certain point. Instead of taking a cab from my house, I would walk, make sure I get like 10,000 steps, take a taxi to the gym, and then when I get to the gym, I do like 15 minutes on the treadmill or 20 minutes on the treadmill, and then now go to lifting weights. And then I came up with my own program. I would watch a lot of YouTube videos, and of course throughout this whole process I was making so many mistakes because I was still new, and I would ask the trainers to show me how to use certain weights, and then eventually I started learning. I now shifted my focus towards form. How you lift is very important. I noticed that you can do less reps, but as long as you're doing it in a good form, it's gonna be just as effective as doing so many reps. And I went through a phase where I would push myself so much, but I would still not see results. So I was wondering like what's the imbalance, and then I figured out it's my eating habits, my diet. Of course, it always comes back to it always comes back to diet. Always comes back to diet, because diet is the most important thing. It's the fuel that drives the the movement, the working out. So I decided to focus more on my diet. I did a lot of research and I came to a conclusion that I needed to up my protein intake and be more intentional with how much protein I'm taking. So and that's when I started incorporating protein shakes. No, by this point, after I had figured out that I needed to increase my protein intake, I got myself a protein shake and I started eating more protein. So after the gym, I would come home, eat 3 boiled eggs and a protein shake. That would be my breakfast, because I would go to the gym in the morning, come back home, eat 3 boiled eggs, have my protein shake. So this was my routine, right? I would walk to the road, which was about like a 15-minute walk, and then get to the gym, go on the treadmill for about 20 minutes, and then now start lifting weights. And then after, I would walk back the same way and then take a taxi halfway. So I would walk halfway and then take a taxi halfway, just to make sure that I get at least 10,000 or more steps a day. And then I would get home, eat my 3 boiled eggs and my protein shake. And then in the evening, I would have like lentils or chickpeas, or with avocado, of course, like a lot of healthy fats. And I would have like a protein smoothie. Not always, but I would make sure that in the evening I'm having like lentils with some meat and a bit of rice, just to balance it out. So at this point, I was just eating 2 meals a day, and for me it was more than enough, because the protein shake was heavily packed and I would make it into a smoothie. So I would put like greens and all those other stuff. And then of course during the weekend I would still eat unhealthy, but I made sure like during the week that I'm eating healthy. So I also decided to stop buying snacks, because if you keep snacks in the house, then it allows you to binge eat and have your midnight snack. I traded my snacks for popcorns, but I would always treat myself to at least some chocolate every day, just so I don't feel like I'm losing my mind by eating too healthy. I would treat myself, and on the weekends obviously I would have like cake, pizza, chips, whatever I wanted, but I would make sure to have it in a moderate amount, in a healthy way. So I decided to have it in moderation, right? And then by this point I started noticing that I'm losing weight, and my family started noticing, but not everyone else around me, because it wasn't that drastic, because I feel like I had lost more fat and gained muscle, so it didn't really show. But if I wore like a bikini or something, then you would see, oh, she's toned, but you could still see I still had so much fat on me. So I became even more strict and added more protein to my diet. So I would take like 2 protein shakes in a day, barely eat any carbs, because I was just desperate to lose the fat and then figure out how I was gonna maintain it. And then eventually I started noticing that the more strength training you do, the more your metabolism increases. So I was eating a lot. I would come back home and I would just eat so much, and I wasn't gaining weight. I figured out that having muscles increases your metabolism, and that just kind of helps with your process even faster. And then eventually it just all dropped off, and everyone is like, whoa, you've lost so much weight so quickly. I'm like, it has been a year since I started, so I didn't do it quickly. So I made sure that it was part of my lifestyle. Like working out became something that was part of my maintenance. So for example, how we all have like our maintenance routine that keeps us at a level that is us. So working out became part of my maintenance. So just like how some people can't not go to the salon once a month, or not have a certain meal in their day, like some people just cannot skip breakfast, some people cannot skip lunch. I made sure that working out was that one thing. Even if some days were my rest day, I would still go for a walk. So yeah, at this point now we were moving a lot, right? So I bought weights and started working out at home. So I wasn't going to the gym. I didn't go to the gym for like 2 or 3 months or even more, but I still maintained. and I became my most fit in October like 2023, because I was working out a lot at home, and I would push myself the same way I would push myself in the gym. But I would also make sure to listen to my body. Especially as women, you need to listen to your body. You can't just keep pushing through a workout and your body has said no, because we go through so many phases, right? With even our hormones, you're not able to lift as heavy as you are when like you're not on your periods. When you're on your periods and it's that time of the month, you cannot do as much as you were before. So I would just do walking. I wouldn't go for a jog, I would just walk, and I wouldn't lift as heavy. I would do Pilates instead, or deep stretches that use a lot of body weight. And then after now, like that time of the month, I would now get enough strength to lift, right? And this time I wasn't at the gym, so I was lifting at home and using a lot of my body weight. And I figured out, I came up with my own schedule. I found out what works for me. So what works for me is low intensive training, so that I don't stress my body, because that's why I wasn't losing weight before. I noticed that the reason why I wasn't losing weight before is because like I would put so much stress on myself that my body would get stressed and hold on to the fat, and I would get stressed because I'm not losing weight, so that does not help anyone. So I figured you'd rather just do what your body is telling you to do. So some days I will do a very long walk and then come back home and use body weights. I use my body weight for training, like I'll do push-ups, pull-ups, whatever I could, and just make sure that it's a bit challenging but not to the point where you're feeling stressed. And then I noticed that it became part of who I am, and yeah, and I think that's how I lost weight. There's literally no shortcut. There's no short answer to this. There's no shortcut. Diet and working out, just figure out what works for you. For some people, you just need to take that first step. Just go for a walk every single day for like a month. Make sure you have that down. For a month, you've gone for a walk, and then now build up on that. You can add weights at home, start training slowly. Just do it very slowly. For me, I feel like it's taken more than a year to get to where I am now, to the point where like I don't skip a workout. And it's not because I'm forcing myself, it's because it's just part of who I am as a person now. And I think that's the only way to maintain and to keep the weight off, you know. Even throughout this holiday season, like in December, January, even on vacation, I was still working out. I would go for a morning run, or eat healthy, or make sure that I'm compensating in some way, or do deep stretches and use your body, because your body weight is just as powerful as lifting weights, especially for women. But of course if you're like doing hard training, it's not the same, but it could still be the same. Especially Pilates. I love Pilates because it's challenging, but not in a way that it stresses your body. Yeah, so right now where I'm at, I am just doing more walks. So I use the treadmill on incline. I just do progressively overloading the incline. I don't know how to explain that. And then after that, I'll just lift a few weights, come back home, do body weights, and then train my abs at home. Yeah, so I don't know what else to add. So maybe if you guys have any questions, you could ask me on Instagram. I'm gonna be I'll put up a poll on Instagram just to ask what kind of questions you guys want me to answer. I really should have done that before filming this video. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this has been very short. I know this was a very short video. I feel like I owe you guys a part 2, so I'm gonna do a part 2 with all the questions ready, and yeah, stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.